Dalian apartment fires. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because we're going to talk about another apartment fire that has occurred just the last few days. This one in Dalian over in China. Now there seems to be a common trend of cladding fires occurring in high-rise buildings. There's another, someone sent me footage of this fire. And then today we've got another report of a building in Milan going up. I thought they were the same building. I didn't realize it was two separate instances. We've had all of the flammable cladding issues here in Australia. And there's a few different types. It's where they're replacing one material with another, where they're putting an aluminium composite cladding, paneling, that externally looks the same but has a different core, which is more flammable. So there's a whole series of issues. And don't kid yourself. Don't think this is just overseas, everyone. This happens here in Australia. Often, and I'd bet a carton, I would bet a carton, that design and construct projects where an alternative is specified, or alternative is installed to what's specified, maybe an alternative is proposed, and the quality check is she's cheaper, is all that happens, and then you're meant to spot it on site. But anyway, let's have a look at this and then look at some of the footage here, everyone. Now, tonight for our live stream, Rachel and I will have a talk about fire in high-rise buildings because she actually did her undergraduate thesis on this topic. So it's certainly something that's interesting. And I'd like to get her to talk about it before she goes completely third trimester, and we'll have to take a break with her on the stream. So people look on as Dalian Kaixuan International goes up in flames. The whole thing didn't burn, but you can see here, I mean, that's a striking building. That definitely is a striking building, but damn, look at that. So it started down here and probably gone all the way up and caught there. Boy, how far has that fire moved? No casualties. That's fantastic. That is what you want to hear in any of these disasters. No casualties. I'm looking for some happy news here, guys. Happy news for a change. And I mean, I find building fires, it just shows you how it's going, doesn't it? So no casualties have been reported after a high-rise building was engulfed in fire yesterday evening in Dalian, northeast China's Liaoning province. The fire broke out in an apartment on the 19th floor of the Dalian Kaixuan International around 4 p.m. yesterday and soon spread upwards throughout the building. The building has 419 households. 419. Wow. And all residents were evacuated after the blaze broke out. Gas and power were also cut off. Well, yeah, hopefully that will... I mean, there you go. So it just spread. Did it have sprinkler systems in the building to mitigate the spread? Because this is the thing. One thing you have to understand is all of our fire legislation is the result of disaster. Now, that's probably what I'll get Rachel to talk about. It's frankly the most interesting part of her thesis. And Hong Kong, I know this isn't Hong Kong, but Hong Kong, which is where we went for a uni field trip, and which was the basis on Rachel's thesis, has some very interesting design requirements to minimize this. Fortunately, here in Australia, the construction requirements are quite stringent, but I mean, even that's going a bit overboard now. In New South Wales, you make one tiny change to an apartment, like in a penthouse, you now have got to upgrade the whole building. So that means sprinklers for the whole building sometimes. It's just ludicrous. The fire was put out around 11 p.m. yesterday. An investigation is ongoing. Online videos show the building engulfed in a massive fire. And so there we go. So it looks like it started probably down here, or maybe a bit lower. And it crept up the facade. Can we zoom in there? Magnify! Come on. Let's do CIS, but look at that. It's just spread over the whole facade. Just ate up everything. And then tracked across. Because remember, fire grows up. It doesn't usually go down, does it? That's how it works. It's a whole art and science to that, to fire engineers. We should get some engineers on the channel. The building is left charred after the massive fire yesterday. Let's have a look at some footage that we have here that people shared. Some different footage. I'm not playing the audio because it looks like it's just been dubbed on it. But you can see here the fire going. So this is obviously near the end as it's spreading across. If we just, I'll pause that and we'll. So that is obviously here what we're seeing, or maybe the other side. Oh, look at that! It's an H-shaped building, or a sky courtyard. So that at the top hasn't burnt. This is a bit more footage here. You can see a zoom in here of it as well. So we'll jump a bit ahead there to have, I mean, there you go. Look at this, how the fire has gone it's caught right up the facade there. So that is right up the guts right there. So it's the facade. So if we have a look here, what's this cladding? That's the question. What's the cladding here? So it's just shooting right up it. No fire mitigation. And there you go, everyone. Let's jump ahead again. You can see these are some images from a distance. You can see there. I mean, it got in and burned out some of those internal spaces. Fire trucks there and response services. So yeah, everyone, that's big. Look at that. No one died. No casualties. Fantastic. That's some good news. That is something we can be really happy with. So what's the solution? Take away all the lessons here. Well, let me jump on my So there's a few things we'll have to consider, and this will probably be worth keeping an eye on. What actually resulted in this issue? What caused the fire? How it spread? It hasn't really been reported much in the Australian news. Have you seen this? A viewer sent it to me. I wouldn't have noticed it otherwise. They sent me the footage, and then I did some digging to find a report on it. So there you go. I mean, there's the issue. Is it the cladding? How's it spread? And is that a risk that we face here in Australia? Now, there is flammable cladding on buildings in Australia, and there's works to rectify it and to remove it. Now, it depends. If your building happens to be on the register with flammable cladding, the risk needs to be considered. It doesn't mean the building's suddenly going to spontaneously combust. It could be in a part of the building where the risk is very low. It could be a risk that could be managed. But the concern is what's happened in parts of Victoria. If it's a habitable building where people sleep at night, they may leave something on cooking, they may have a smoke and put it in an ice cream container and it'll just go up the building. Where if you've got it on the side of a parapet of a commercial building, that's a little different right up in the sky than a building that people are inhabiting. I think what's good here is that there are no casualties, which is amazing. Look at the extent of the fire. So their building evacuation system worked, and that did its job. It gave enough time for the people to get out of the building. That's good. That's what you want. So it's a win in that regard. That's a positive. What do you think, everyone? What are your suggestions? Why do you think this happened? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy our merch at HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.